are back. It is Friday, April 4th. Woo, spring is in the air. Yada, 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 yada. It's 92 down here today and sunny in Florida. Today we've got Earl and Art, of course. Hi, Art. Hi, Earl.
Up, Greg.
How are
Well, not
things
Greg.
going? Oh, it's good to see you, Earl. I think I've seen you more and more on the LinkedIn. I'm gonna call it the LinkedIn from now on because I just do it. Couldn't get no
Hey, I
other.
like your backdrop.
You like that?
Yeah. I was
Yeah.
hoping to do something like that for P for P.
There you go. There you go.
Is that a virtual or is it like a big
No,
old?
it's the real McCoy.
Look at
Oh,
that.
It's the real
sweet.
McCoy. Yeah.
Hmm.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, let's see here. We've got today we're going to talk about copiers. We can talk about fax machines and scanners and AI and probably Xerox and HP. Earl, what's new with you in the city of the big shoulders,
Hmm.
Chi-Town?
Yeah,
You know,
we really want to know how the Xerox meeting went.
Yeah.
hmm.
You know, what you liked, what you didn't like.
Yeah. So obviously, with Xerox, I'm sure you're aware, but they acquired IT Savvy, right?
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
So IT Savvy's in our backyard. They're right here out of Addison or Oak Brook.
Right.
But they're huge. When it comes to IT, they have over, I think, 500 employees. They do over 440 million a year. And for dealers like myself that can't really make the investment to go down that IT channel,
Right.
it's a perfect fit because now we can utilize their vendor relationships, their resources, their connections to help us go into accounts and promote IT services.
Wow. I forgot all about this
And
move. Yeah. Go
and
ahead.
everything is going to be white labeled from them to us.
Very nice.
So we can sell you name, I mean, again, it hasn't been officially launched, but from PCs to 365 licenses, anything like that, we can run it through IT Savvy and help customers out. Help. So again, for us here locally on Elite, we're officially changing our name. It should be changed within the next 2 weeks.
Really?
Yeah, yeah.
What are you going to change it to?
Well, Elite's going to remain, but
Okay.
the IT in Elite's going to become kind of the center point because
Ooh.
it's already in there, right? Elite IT. And on the bottom, I think we're going to go instead of document solutions, we're going to change it to integrated solutions.
Ooh, that's good. Integrated
Yeah.
solutions. That's good. That's
Yeah.
good.
Nice.
So we're going to get away from, just kind of that pigeonhole, right? We're one dimensional right now as a company. We have one bucket that's copiers and service and supplies. But, obviously with IT growing so quick and, there's a lot of dealerships out there making a huge investment into IT. It takes years for them to break even. They're not breaking even the first 3 years.
Oh, hell no. No way.
Absolutely correct.
No
Yeah.
way.
So for us, there's no investment on our side, but we break even with our first customer.
Right.
So
Right.
that's kind of a nice thing.
Wow. So, well, I got a billion questions now. How deeply integrated is it going to be? Are they going to rebrand? Is it going to be, like another wing of Xerox in the dealer
Yeah.
channel? Is it going to go national? You know what I mean?
Global. It's
Okay.
global. So
Global.
it's IT Savvy is going to become Xerox IT.
Hmm. Okay.
Um,
So, wow.
so that's going to be huge. But now here's the kicker. From what they said at the meeting, IT Savvy is like the 70th largest IT company in the world. In the world,
Did you say 400 million?
445.
445. Okay. That's a
So I know there's dealers out there that do 20, 30, 40, 50 million, whatever it is. You can't compete really with the $445 million organization that all of their vendors are the top tier level,
yep.
between Microsoft, Apple, you name it.
Microsoft, all the cybersecurity, all the firewalls, HP, all of
HP,
them.
correct. Yep. So it's it's um, it's exciting. It's going to be new, but to really learn how to, and I think to be honest, it's going to be learn as we go and learn as we grow with it, you know?
Yeah.
So it's
Yeah.
all good.
Well, I was involved with it was a $500 million VAR out in it was a VAR. This is how long ago it was turned into MSP. And the mentality between the two were totally different, right? We brought on an MPS program inside a VAR, inside an MSP, big H. You could, it's the same thing, 400, 500 million. You're right. Those other vendors come through the door. They want to work with you, right? Is
Right.
that big dollar thing. But the
Right.
tough thing, so it's curious, will they be able to sell your services in return? Is there going to be a separate sales staff? All that goofy stuff,
Don't know.
right? Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Don't know how that's going to play out.
Well, I'll tell you what, locally, that's really interesting, isn't it, Earl?
Oh, yeah. Trust me, I'm chomping at the bit to jump on this one because,
Wow.
again, that makes me the powerhouse when it comes to IT in Chicago. It really does because, I mean, it's so
Well,
many.
let's see. You've only got, I think CDW is out there, but they don't, I mean, they're more of a distributor than well, they go direct to what, the Fortune 500s and the Fortune
Yeah.
100s.
Yeah.
So, okay, they can have them. But I'm
Yeah.
guessing this thing's going to scale all the way down to the SMB,
Correct.
which
Yeah.
that's cool. Boy, but there's a huge undertaking about it's going to be, if the faster you can get in, the better, right? And things are going to get broken, things are going to go wrong, but there are so many tentacles going in both directions.
Oh, man.
And
This,
Xerox is not the best at internal processes, right?
right.
Or I should
Right.
say, streamlining internal processes. So, boy, Earl, if I were you, I'd just jump on every single thing you possibly could.
Oh,
Just
man. You know
grab
it.
it and
I'm already trying to tee it up before it's even launched. I want
yeah,
to be ready to go and run
Right.
with it because it's going to give me a huge advantage over so many
Yeah.
people.
you're
Yeah, Earl, just keep in mind that some of these programs that I've seen out there, they put a minimum on the number of users. So that's the first thing you want to get into is
Yeah.
oh
what's the
yeah.
minimum number of users?
Yeah.
Geez,
Because you
Earl,
don't want to waste your time if the minimum number is 10 and
Right.
you're talking to clients that are 5 or 8.
Yeah. Correct. Yeah. For sure.
um,
Sure.
has the channel program been fleshed out at all to you, or was it just an announcement?
I'm talking locally with the guys here because I want to be one of the first ones to really embrace it, just because they are literally in my backyard. They're like
Yeah,
5 minutes from me.
you're lucky.
So it makes sense for me to really go with it. And I hope it's a perfect, fit for both of us because I would love to be that guinea pig to launch it here in Chicago and help them come up with a system to push it out to everybody else.
I would imagine that's a really good idea, and I would
Yeah.
imagine there would be people who would listen to that. Really,
Yeah.
even at both sides, Xerox especially. I'm sure Xerox has got their own ideas how this is going to work.
Yeah.
It's probably wrong, but it's an idea. And
Right.
the big thing is how flexible are they willing to learn and deal with the mistakes as they happen, as opposed to going through committees and shit like that. Is if you can
Yeah.
just, and if you're going to be aggressive about it, grab the Xerox folks and say, yeah, prototype me. Let's
Exactly.
document the whole process, see where the bottlenecks are, see where. I mean, there's so much. Oh my God, there's contracts, there's dispatch, there's. Uh, I mean, Great America did that, right? Yeah, they did it with their.
Like
I
a,
forget the
collaborative or something like that.
collaborate. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. They're a finance house, so they outsourced everything and then repackaged and white labeled it out to the dealer channel. That was quite complicated, right? And they were under control, and it wasn't 500 million. So wow, that
Yeah.
is really cool news.
Yeah.
That's cool.
So
Yeah.
guess what, Earl?
Yeah.
New learning curve.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah,
exactly. Right. It never stops. Right. No, but for us, for our growth, if I, obviously grow the company with IT services and get reoccurring revenue from that stream, not utilizing any of my resources, that's huge.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's just the
Uh,
cost on the balance sheet that comes in. That's cool.
yeah.
Um, and even any increase, even if you just increase 3%. And what about their customers needing copiers?
I don't know how that's going to play out. Nothing's
Well,
been
then
said, but
it's up to you.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, for sure. But this allows me. I mean, I'm a lean and mean company, right? So this allows me to stay lean,
Lean.
but offer everything under the sun to our customers, really like an Amazon A to Z, from here's the thing, it's all about the data, right? They're creating data that I can play with now as far as PCs and so forth. We're going to store that data with all the servers, whether they go cloud or prem. I can help you with that. And then when you want to release that data and print that data, no matter if it's large format or office format, we're here to support that as well. So it's really going to be in that cycle of how do we play within that data stream? And I want to be that guy.
Yeah,
So
that's the place to be. Boy, I'm kind of envious because this you're like in the frontier locally, and it just it happened to land in your backyard. I mean, how
yeah,
fortuitous is that?
that's
It's
huge.
and you got a competitor down the road who's been well, I shouldn't say that, been maximizing their position within the rules at their prospects and clients cost that now you because I think you can get pretty competitive too on those.
Oh, here's the thing.
Yeah.
What's going to happen when once I understand what my competitors are doing on the IT side,
Hmm.
what happens when I release a flat rate IT system?
I would do it. Yeah, you're
No,
on the right track. Yep.
you know what I mean? So once I get in the game and I start to learn more about who's doing what, how they're doing it, and I come back and give them a program that they can't counter, like they're, with the flat rate, it's going to totally separate me from everybody else.
Yeah.
Everybody.
I and I know you didn't ask, but a little piece of advice. Those guys, they try and separate the copiers from the IT.
Yeah.
That's what they try and do. And accounting wise and everything, you have a whole balance sheet, whole new P&L with your IT. You don't have to do that,
Uh-uh.
right? So you don't even have to sink cost in a knock, technicians, none of that. You just have to carry the cost of whatever the contract is, the cost of it. So
Yep.
you can do a seat per seat, literally, that includes everything. And because that's how when you get into it, you'll see how they do it. They price out a system and it comes out per user, right? They price it out per user. So like Art said earlier, if they set up, well, we don't want to do anything 15 users below or whatever that is, you got to be aware of that. But what you do is you add up all the services and divide by the number of users, and that's how much it is. It's like per user. That's how they do it. So there may be some
Yeah, I've heard of
middle
some
room
dealers
there.
actually, if there is a minimum 15 and what their price is for 15, then they just divide that up if there's 10 users, and that's the cost for 10 users.
Right.
Some may let it work that way, some may not, but that's something you might be able to use to your advantage, Earl.
That's
Yeah.
true. Good
Yeah.
point. Good point.
So one of the other things that I was just going through the press release is also going to open you up to digital transformation, which is going to be content.
So yeah, I didn't read the press release. When you say digital, like are they talking DocMan and
Oh,
archiving and moving
it's a
docs?
little vague, but it says digital transformation is the forefront of industry trends, with an estimated 90% of all organizations undergoing some type of digital transformation.
Yeah,
Xerox will offer expanded comprehensive digital transformation services.
that could be
So
anything. Really, that could be
Yeah.
anything.
I'm
that
not
means
exactly sure what they're referring to right there, to be honest.
Right.
so
Yeah.
it could be workflows, document management,
Yeah.
AR workflows, AR, AP, HR.
Yeah. Earl, do you guys do anything with software right now? Any of that kind of stuff?
Mm-mm. No, we
Okay,
don't.
that's cool.
Yeah.
Wow.
So yeah,
Well,
it's going to be. I think it's going to open up a lot of opportunities, a lot of doors, and the more that we learn, it's going to really, I think, jumpstart us big time. So,
I
because I've
think
been
it's
holding
great.
off, with this IT side, but now, we're the big dog soon to be. You're right, because we come in with the biggest game in town, and these guys are on top of it, man. But I'm just that small guy down the street, but now I have resources. That's crazy.
Yeah, you can go from Chicago to Milwaukee to Brookfield to Madison.
Oh yeah.
Where's that place out in Indiana? They got a spot and
Yeah. Oh, I'm going to be blasting LinkedIn about IT services very shortly. Once I learn what's happening. I'm gonna.
Well,
Somebody.
Earl, I have to tell you, I've done it. So, if you have any questions, I've done it through channels. I never worked with Xerox because they didn't have anything, but HP, CDW, all those guys. So, yeah, and it depends.
Hey,
Well, anyway,
Earl,
whatever.
have you seen any tariff increases yet?
No, I haven't.
That's good, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, because other manufacturers are actually reporting increases because of the tariff.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, nothing from I just asked Earl about Xerox, so nothing from Xerox. I've heard nothing about any Canon increases.
Hmm.
Still waiting on some others, but the majority of them have already increased their prices.
Which is
So
kind of
it's
crazy,
interesting.
right? I mean, isn't doesn't it take like 60, 90 days for the pricing to actually hit the supply chain?
Well, it better not, right?
So it's profit taking is what they're doing.
Well,
Exactly.
some of one of them I can think is a lot of profit taking. They're
Okay.
taking an advantage of the situation.
Which it probably won't even translate into profit. It's probably, keeping
It's a
the
good
deficit.
possibility. So
Yeah.
guess what appeared today on the Ricoh USA website?
What's that?
Remember the machine we spoke about with PFU a month ago
I don't remember what we
with
talked
the
about last
production
week.
scanner on top of
Oh
the
yeah, yeah,
copier?
yeah. I do
I
remember
saw
that.
you post that. Yeah.
That was on the Ricoh site yesterday. And the first I've ever seen of it taking an RADF or a recirculating dock, whatever it may be, off and putting a freaking real scanner on top of the platen glass. To
That's
me,
right. That's
you know,
huge.
I think it's huge.
In
Because you know what, as Earl can attest to, a lot of the document feeders still have a hard time feeding different types of media, ID cards,
oh,
right? Maybe envelopes or odd size originals. The advantages of these production scanners is that basically you can put anything in the feeder and it's going to scan reliably.
garbage disposal. That's what I used to call the Panasonics. They take paper clips, staples, whatever, crunch it through. I don't think you're going to be that robust, but the copiers have always been a little fragile. What,
Yeah.
30 sheets up there, maybe 50 back in the olden days. And if you sent a paper clip through it, it could jam the whole system up and jack everything up. Yeah. Well, that's
That's
interesting.
That's a cool idea. I like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think it's going to get some opportunities. I don't have pricing out on it yet. I even went to the brochure, and one thing I was
Oh,
not happy about the brochure is that the brochure didn't mention the scan speed.
oh,
Hmm.
was it dual head by any chance?
Well, it's got to be because that Fujitsu scanner is pretty much a production level scanner.
Wow. That, yeah, I'd like to see what that is. So if it's dual head scanning, you can double it, whatever it is.
You saw the
That's,
picture of it, right?
yeah.
Yeah, I saw it.
What did they, that's cool.
I'm going to see if I uploaded a brochure to it.
It's really new though, isn't it? I wonder if ChatGPT's got it already.
Well, it might have been because I created some of my LinkedIn posts with ChatGPT. I'm doing more of that. Actually, Earl, I'm doing more of that. I'm putting actually what I want to talk about on LinkedIn.
Hmm.
And instead of posting a picture or something like that, I'll go into ChatGPT and I'll say, okay, I'll write whatever content I want and then tell ChatGPT, all right, I want to post this for a LinkedIn thread and add emojis for me and add in hashtags.
Wow.
5
It does it.
seconds. I've got what I need. I skim it, make sure everything's correct. Out it goes.
Wow.
You've probably
Art,
seen a couple of the threads recently, right?
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
saw him, Art. I knew exactly what you're doing. Oh, that's cool. As a quick little shortcut. You can just say, do all the social media platforms. It'll do a tweet, a Facebook, all at once,
Wow.
a LinkedIn based on your article.
Huh.
Yeah. Dude,
Well, that's even better.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're right. What you do, those, you got to go through it and edit first, right? Whatever and I'm a victim to making
Just
mistakes.
like spell check.
Yeah, it's just like, you're not giving it away. You've got to edit it, make sure it works. Just like working with another human being. That's all it is. Faster, smarter. And the images now, holy smokes, they're just dead nuts on now. They look like real people. But I don't know if you've checked that out. The image generator on ChatGPT. There's no more goofy, misspellings or anything like that. It does text. You want a person who looks like a person. It's a person who looks like a person.
Right.
It's nuts. I just started using it. But
Yeah,
Hey, Greg, is that Hoggers the one in Heartland, Wisconsin?
shut up. Yeah.
Yeah.
How do you know that?
Come on now.
Yeah, it is. That was one of my favorite places in Heartland, right by the
Really?
railroad tracks, dude.
Yeah.
And I knew that. Oh, here we go. That guy. What did I do? The first day I walked in, it was like a 2 in the afternoon. Wisconsin, it doesn't matter when you drink, but you go 2 p.m. Walk in. I got to kill some time. I look over. He's got a whole slew of good bourbon. Like it's a little hole in the wall kind of place, right?
Yeah.
Oh, dude, what do you got? And we drank them all in like from then until 11, and it was like a great time. That's why I bought the jersey and everything. I
Oh.
loved it.
Where are you located now? Are you in Florida?
I'm in Florida right now, yeah, but I'm a snowbird. I'll be back up in Michigan in
Oh,
a
okay. Okay.
couple weeks. Earl, what were you doing in Heartland?
I lived in Green Bay for like a year, almost
Okay,
2 years. Yeah.
still it's a long way from Heartland.
Well, I used to snowmobile everywhere, up in
Mhm.
Wisconsin.
Oh, you were a fib. You are a fib. Wow, well that's cool, Earl. Yeah, that's where it's from. That's where it's
Yeah.
from. Excellent. Um, wow. So I see something came from HP, authentication suite, smart document exchange of some sort. You guys, I don't even know what
No,
that
I haven't
is.
seen anything.
It looks like it's integrated Office into the machine. Office
Microsoft Office?
360. Yeah. Yeah. Because you go up to the panel and it's got all the Office icons, Office 360 icons. I don't
No,
know.
interesting. We were speaking last week about when you start your discovery with clients,
Mm-hmm.
and we were talking about how, one of my first questions now with discovery is tell me more about the scanning process, and then tell me more about um, you know, are you scanning the folders, scan the email, are you using any cloud services? And then I moved directly to MS OneDrive. And
Right.
I've sold to some of the subscription services now to net new accounts for scanning
Oh, that's
directly
right.
to
Okay.
OneDrive from the copy machine. Now today I came from an appointment. They had a Mac up there. And so I asked about MS OneDrive. They said no. And I go, okay, well, do you use Google Docs? They said yes. So, of course, I posed to them, would you benefit if you were able to view the Google Doc folders from the copier and scan directly to it? Of course, the answer was yes. Just to go back, the scanning, you've got to talk about scanning. You just can't take it for granted that they're going to scan the email or scan the folder.
Right. Right. Wow. So, see, scanning is relevant again. Not again, more than ever, right? So interesting. Very, very interesting.
Right.
Along those lines, Art, when you're in the field, and same with you, Earl. I don't think you are, but are you hearing anything about artificial intelligence bubbling up from the trenches, from the businesses? Not necessarily, Everyone else is doing it top down, but is anyone in the field talking about it? I don't think so,
Not
but
really. No.
yeah,
So I'm not, I'd like to ask, and I've been forgetting to ask my customers if they're using it, if they're using AI and what they're using it for.
that'd be interesting. I mean, my inner circles, it's almost, you know, zero point 0.5 out of 10 people actually say they are you in the SMB, and by SMB, I'm not from 12 employees all the way up to five under 1,000, right? Employees. Nobody's using it. No one's reporting that they're using it. On the enterprise side, everybody's using it, which is
Oh,
not, but everyone,
did you see the April Fool's joke with the Wells Fargo?
yeah, I saw that.
They're going to replace the CEO with some
Dude,
funky
I bit down
AI.
on that so hard because I've been saying that we don't need a CEO because we got AI, and I'm thinking, wait a minute.
Right,
It's
right.
April 1st.
Yeah,
We
yeah.
need
I'm reading through
backtrack.
it and I'm going, okay, well, wait a minute. Sounds too good to be true.
I know. So I'm backtracking. Oh, geez, almost got me. Almost. I was gonna go jump all over it, but yeah. Well, that's too bad because it's. I think I think on an individual basis, and Earl, do you use it at all? I'm not even gonna. It doesn't matter. Everyone should be using it. Everyone, because
Oh
it
yeah, for
will.
sure.
It is.
Yeah.
I'm telling. I've been evangelizing it for 28 months.
Every day, every
Every,
day.
it's
Hey,
every day I use it, something new comes up, and I've been using it every day for like a long. And I've got a pretty substantial, portfolio behind me of this LLM stuff, and it surprises me. It's like, what? How the hell did you know that? It's like,
Right. Agree.
I had to get out of my house this morning for a 9 a.m. appointment, right?
uh-huh.
And I had only a little bit of time because we have this ongoing contest at Stratix that I need to win. But I had to do a review of a net new account I was in 2 days ago. And
Okay,
I said, hey, get them something in a couple days
I can see
and a
where this is
quote.
going. I love it.
So I took maybe 5 minutes and I put a summary into the meeting that we had. And then I told ChatGPT to give this as a summary for the client. Here's the numbers, how many pages they're doing in their five brother printers, how many pages they're doing in their Canon. I estimate they're doing a 15% coverage. Figure me out the cost per page. Figure me out based on the monthly volume, what the cost is. And they also told me that in 1 year, they're expecting to grow their business 15%. So give me the numbers on the cost per page increase and the monthly numbers based on next year. I had the summary in 45 seconds, dropped it into a Word document, sent it to the client, got out the door. An hour later, they said, thanks for all the work on this, awaiting your proposal.
I'm telling you,
How much time did that save me?
at least an hour.
Uh, Most likely, yeah. And
Oh no,
and I've got
it saved you more than an hour, dude. Now and if
and
you're on the paid, you actually trained your open AI to respond that way. So the next time it's like,
yes,
oh,
yeah, I've got to do another one on Monday. That I got to get out. But basically, the format was just spot on
thumbs
because
up.
I
Yep.
said I wanted to cut and paste it and put it into a Word document in the instructions as well.
It's not going to be too long before it automatically says it'll go right to Word, or a word processing functionality will be
Or do
built
you
in.
want this
Yeah,
downloaded in a Word document?
but they're going to get rid of Word. OpenAI will, hey, it's a document, you want to print it right now. Don't go to Word, or do you need to spell check? All the functionality that Word has will be built into the AI. It's
Right.
nuts. But I love
Well,
that, Art. That is, see, I keep telling people, just use it. And now you got me going. I see more and more and more of these AI instructional classes that is just total bullshit. It's absolutely, and it's getting to the point where it's criminal now. It's like, you guys know better than to charge someone $300 to sit and watch 24 slides regurgitating something you said 3 years ago, and you just added AI. You don't even know what the hell you're talking about, and these guys are paying for it. They're going to take it out in the field, and it's never going to work. It's never going
And
to work,
and,
and
and
they're
they're
going to
paying
say AI sucks.
and they're paying for somebody to for a 25-minute
It's
background on them, what they did to get to
yeah,
this point.
it's bullshit. It's
Yeah.
not. I used to be a little bit irritated. Now I'm just getting pissed off because you guys are, and it'll all go away. They're all going to go away. All these, don't get me going. It's terrible. But
So,
anyway, yeah.
Earl and Greg, did you guys see the press release from Sumner One?
No, well, maybe. What did it say?
I think Earl saw it, right?
Regarding,
Sumner.
Sumner One and Fuji.
yeah. So Fuji, I'm sure you guys are aware, but they're going direct now, or not direct, but they're setting up their dealer channel here in the country, right? So they signed Marco, and now they just recently signed Sumner.
Sumner's pretty big, right?
Yeah, they're based out of St. Louis. Marco's out of Minnesota. So, you know,
How do I not see this?
they're coming right out of the gates with two big, large dealers, you know, mega dealers, right? So it's going to be interesting because that's really the same box as the Xerox box.
Yep.
Fuji, they manufacture that box.
Yep.
Right.
So they manufacture for Xerox, they manufacture for Caton. I've heard I think a dealership brought on Caton. I haven't seen it in the field, but rumor has it somebody has it.
Yeah,
But
I've heard that.
other than that, it's going to be interesting with Fuji setting up their dealer network now.
Yeah.
So what's going to happen?
I got a question for you, Earl. I'm sorry to interrupt
Yeah.
you. So with Xerox, now going to be offer Xerox dealers IT savvy, right?
Right.
Pretty much, I don't think you would even entertain a call from Caton, would you?
Ooh.
Would I with Caton? No, there's no reason to go with Caton. Fuji would be interesting, but you know, Caton, no.
Interesting, because I'm thinking
Okay.
that play went out with the IT, with a
Yeah.
lot of the Xerox dealers that don't offer IT.
Yeah.
Is actually a great way to keep them in the fold.
With Caton?
No, with Xerox.
Oh, with Xerox. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, if they can figure out the IT side, that's obviously a lot of value to bring to a dealership, you know, because
Yeah.
how many mega dealers are there? Really? I mean, how many large dealers are there? The
A
majority.
dozen megas. I think
Yeah.
there's a dozen.
Last I checked, and this was from ECS, I think there was like 12, but that was maybe a year and a half, 2 years ago. So, you know how things are all dynamic. So it was like a dozen. At core, there's probably, and I'd say 5 real ones, right? You know, because they kind of fudge, but 5 big guys. We all know them.
Yeah, right. What's your definition of a mega dealer, though? What qualifies a mega dealer?
So
Well,
ENX puts out every year the definition of all the different size dealers.
Yeah, I've seen that.
Yeah, and the megas are, I don't remember the number, but over
approaching
amount of
a
$1
billion,
million.
approaching the B, approaching. So anything over 500 in that range, and then, you know, take it with a grain of salt after that. But I mean, if you're at 300 million as a dealer, and geographic footprint,
Hmm.
right? So those two things. But honestly,
I'm
I
sure
haven't been tracking.
Marco's up there, right? POA's up there.
POA, Marco, Dex,
Dex, UBEO.
yeah. Who else is in? There's someone in Chicago, I think.
Flex print.
Flex, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
I think that's it.
yeah. I know, but so 4 or 5 that I would count as, yeah, okay, those guys are real.
Oh,
You're right.
RJ Young.
RJ Young, that's right.
RJ Young.
I wonder, would Dex be the biggest? Do you think? After they got rid of Staples or something, whatever.
I would say, yeah.
Maybe Pacific, maybe the biggest.
They're pretty freaking big, but I haven't been out on the West Coast in a while, so I can't really. I don't know. But
So Earl, when you any news between Lexmark and Xerox at the show?
Yeah, no, actually. So with Lexmark, I think it's going to become official come August is when they kind of take over everything. Um, and obviously there were some key points they brought up at the meeting about why they brought on Lexmark. Distribution was one big reason, you know,
Hmm.
and then their technology. So
So do you see you guys moving away
that's all I know.
from the Fuji boxes and more of the Lexmark A3s? Since Xerox is going to own that technology now?
I don't know that. I have no idea.
If
I
I
think they're
were,
going to
if
stay
I,
with Fuji. I mean, I think because all of our devices are based on Fuji's engines. I can't see
Right.
them just leaving that and going the Lexmark.
well, it's happened with other dealers who basically didn't manufacture their own machines. They switched from one vendor to another.
Hmm.
Yeah, who knows? I don't know. Nothing was said about that.
I would tend to think that that's a move Xerox would have to do to protect them, to protect their print business from the likes of Marco, Sumner One, Caton,
Wow, that's
all the
right.
pressure that's getting put on them with those boxes.
Yeah, but if you look at all of their boxes, you know, their production, if those are coming from Fuji, which I
Okay,
think they are, right?
great point. Actually, a great point. I don't think they would. Lexmark has no production. I would say Xerox would stay with the Fuji production, but eventually move to the Lexmark A3 machines for SMBs.
Yeah, but if you're going to play ball with the Marcos, right, and Sumners and everybody else that's carrying the Fuji product line, why wouldn't you just go to bat with the A3 devices as well with Fuji? You know what I mean? Because you're already competing on the
All
high end.
right. So that's
So,
another great point. So let me go back to the Ricoh days when Gestetner sold Ricoh
yeah,
boxes. Savin was doing Ricoh boxes. Dealers had Ricoh. There was Ricoh Direct. At one point, Gestetner was Ricoh boxes. And you could find yourself with the same box and have 5 different competitors offering the same damn box.
Mm-hmm.
And then it just became, you talk about a price war. It just became a price war.
right.
Yeah.
That's my thought.
But you know, at the end though, Fuji, the manufacturer, still wins, right? They still get their
Yeah.
box.
Manufacturers always win.
Right,
Yeah.
exactly.
Who and the customers win, and who loses? The dealers.
Right. Yeah.
Hmm.
It's going to be interesting. We'll see what happens. But as Fuji ramps up their dealer network, it looks, I mean, based on what they've done so far with Sumner and Marco, they're probably just going to the big guys. They're probably trying to go to the 20% that does 80% of the business,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And they're going to let Xerox, you know, stay in that SMB arena, possibly. I don't know.
Hmm.
I don't
Yeah,
know.
I would tend to think so. That might be a good play. Also, but they'll probably attack schools heavily and attack larger cities and
So
municipalities
you
like
saying that
Philly.
Fuji would?
Yeah,
I
why
think
not?
Lexmark's has got a pretty good, and you know, it could be. I think Lexmark is pretty good in the government, municipality, the
They
sleds.
do have a lot of government,
Yeah.
Lexmark.
So the Fuji corporate office, I think it's their corporate office here. They're like literally a pitching wedge away from my office.
No kidding. Wow.
So I have Fuji on one side and IT Savvy right down the street.
It's
So
like you planned it, Earl.
it's like, wow,
Wow.
interesting.
I love it when
Uh,
a plan comes together. That's cool. All right. That's good.
so I'm just trying to think if there was any other news from last week.
I
Here's something else that I want to bring up real quick to you guys. Have you seen the new Epson A4 floor model? They have a 40 page per minute and a 55 A4 device. It's like a mini me version of their A3. You know, I don't like Epson as a corporate, you know, the way they treat the dealers, you know, they wait my experience, but damn, that's a nice box. It's a nice unit, that 40 and 55 page per minute device.
Epson is in a huge lawsuit with a large dealer in Texas.
I've heard about that. Yeah.
I heard from someone just yesterday, they called me, and now it's going to trial in Texas. I
Oh, it
believe in
is.
Texas.
Or
I can't see
Oklahoma-ish. Yeah.
I can't see how Epson can let that go to trial.
Everything comes out.
Can you imagine trying to explain how inkjet consumption works in a print process with cleanings and purging and ink cycles, and that black isn't really black because black could actually be yellow, cyan, magenta, and black mixed together.
So here's my question on that lawsuit, though, because they're suing because the cost of maintaining those devices were more than expected, right?
Correct. Under their supposed what they were told to do with their cost, somewhat to do with their cost per page.
So it sounds like they probably went in with some type of fixed flat rate program and lost their ass.
Could have.
Yeah.
They could have.
Yeah, based on what Epson told them to expect.
Yeah, but it's kind of shame on you for maybe they went in so competitively, you know, that they didn't do their research on what it was really going to cost. Laser, you know what's going to cost to maintain a laser device. There's no secret.
Or maybe they did do their research and somewhat fibbed about the excess ink that would be used in purging and cleaning cycles and print nozzle checks, et cetera, et cetera.
You know that's happened. That happened. The studies were all jacked in the lab. The nozzles were cleaned after every page. Goofy stuff like that happens. That's the way. I mean, BLI knows about that. Yeah.
But that's going to be an interesting if it goes to trial.
Yeah, you're right.
I think Epson might settle before it goes to trial.
Epson, you don't want that out. You don't want at any cost, even if they win the trial, right? If they win the case, it's still what you fudged here, you fudged there. Yeah, but you know, there's always a way to snake out of it. Due diligence on the customer side, all that. That was the best we had at the time. The industry's going to know you guys are jacked the whole thing up for real.
If it pans out that way.
Well, if it gets out. And then once it gets out, once it hits public, it doesn't matter what the truth is, right? There's going to be spin like crazy.
It's just whatever that person who reads it, what their perception is.
Right.
Sounds like the customer won again.
Very true.
I love this business. Boy, I remember when Epson was just a 9-pin dot matrix printer, or 130 column 24-pin was the LQ 2550, and it could go through 3-part forms. Wow. Then the Lexmark came out. I forget their model numbers, but it would go through 5-part forms, which was whoa. Yeah, I mean, what did I had one installation where the printer was like 5 feet in the air and it had all these different carbonless paper feeds, so you could choose whichever. I don't know how it was, but anyway, that's how I think of when I think of Epson. And then what is it? Oki Data is still at the airport. When you
really?
You guys go through the airport, you hear like
the dot matrix printers, zip 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 zip.
It's like, wait, what is that?
They're hanging on.
Yeah, they are. You hear that rip. Wow.
Yep. So other than that Ricoh release of their new MFP with the production scanner on it, and Sumner, it seems like last week was kind of quiet for the industry.
Yeah. Which that's fine. But yeah, that's why Well, I think today's session, the best thing that I heard is what Earl just said about Xerox, Chicago, IT. I mean, to me, that's a big deal. It's maybe 10 years. Oh, wait. Earl, let's see. Ricoh, what IT company did Ricoh buy? And then Konica Minolta.
Oh,
Remember?
Conicum, yeah, I don't even, it's been so long, I don't even remember the names.
So it has been done before.
Yes.
They both flamed out. Wow. I think Ricoh, I think they might have worked with IBM back in the day, Tavali or whatever it was. Well, this is very. I'm gonna have to watch. Honestly, Earl, I haven't watched this. This will be interesting. This will be very interesting. Hmm.
Yeah, I was just trying to look up something real quick. It's 10 years old. It's probably not coming up on the top page of Google.
Was it one of your articles?
With IT now for companies like myself, I think we're I think we're ready to attack IT more so than we were 5, 10 years ago because
I would agree.
it was still new, right? And now that it's becoming more mainstream to talk about IT, I think it's dealers like myself are more comfortable about it. It's like before, it's like, let's wait and see. If we missed the boat, okay, what did we really miss?
Right.
We're not wasting money. We're not throwing and hiring these high dollar employees to program and maintain IT. We're not taking that chance and risk. So it doesn't really matter. But when the customers start asking, that's when you have to really start to look at it. Like, do you guys offer IT support? We're not happy with our IT company. And you start hearing that over and over and over again. You're like, well, hold on a second. Maybe there's an opportunity that we can, bring a value add to our customers with it. But for me, it's kind of like wait and see. I like to see other people invest and see how long it takes them to break even and all that good stuff. It's such a different game. It's more of a expertise, when it comes to IT. It's just, but now I'm ready to attack it. So
You're right about the nuance, which is probably why most of the copier companies or dealers that do jump on IT don't get the 50% for years, if ever. And
yeah,
I will tell you, there are more failed IT movements within the dealer channel than there are successful. I would say for every 10 that was attempted, one might still be around,
yeah, yeah,
right? And even that one, I can only think of one that claims they're at 50% of their revenue is IT. And that's a claim. I don't even think it's real, right? And you know those guys. They're right in your backyard. Um, but you're right. This might be timing is probably right because the mistakes have all been made, Earl. Everyone made the mistakes. So you
yeah.
can just learn from where everyone else failed.
And
Rumor has it, this is just a rumor.
I love it.
and how far the technology's come in the last
Well,
10 years.
here's the, for some of the IT companies, copier companies that have invested in IT infrastructure,
Hmm.
rumor has it that a company may start outsourcing their IT services so they don't have to employ, specialized people in house to be more, costly.
Hmm.
So now that they have the account, now they can kind of switch gears, outsource it, maybe overseas, right? Less expense on the back end, and now they become more profitable. That's just a rumor.
Yeah,
Yeah, but as a business model, that's a relevant business model,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
but
You
when the
invest up
outsourcing
front.
occurs, that's
You
when the
invest.
customer loses.
Well, actually, there's two things here going because like I think you just said it, the technology is more achievable now, so you don't really need the level of specialists that you needed 10 years ago. You really don't.
right.
Even on the support side, even which is call centers and stuff like that, and even the pre-sales. Well, I don't know. I would be going out on a limb and saying you don't need a a SME, as many SMEs or as deep as the SMEs used to be 5, 6, 7, 10 years ago
Right.
nowadays.
Right.
Wow, that's saying a lot. So, and they're the most when it comes to HR, they're pretty expensive,
Yeah.
right?
Oh,
I mean,
100%. Yeah.
they're pretty expensive.
And not only that, but they jump ship for, $5,000 raise.
Yeah, there's no, well, yeah, there's no loyalty,
There's no
and
loyalty there.
yeah,
Absolutely.
there's loyalty to the dollar, but I get that. So, and boy, you know what? That's where AI is too. Your help desk, seriously, I mean, you could really just level one, two, and maybe even three support calls could be answered really quickly. Maybe not yet, maybe one and two. So go that route. The pre-sales thing, you still have the smart probes. It's not that hard anymore. Yeah. So you build up your client base with the expertise, get to that level, look at your revenue, look at your costs on the labor side, and they're starting to wipe that away and start over here because we're going to outsource it all.
It's like eliminating OEM toner and start using aftermarket
That's
toner,
yeah, it is.
right?
So
You
the
have your toner, you have your customer, and now let's shave a few more points and go aftermarket.
right, and it's all math. So if we lose 3% of our client base because our service is so low, or our toner cartridges mess up every three, 3 out of 10 times, not 30, but
Right.
one third out of 10, that's a cost of doing business. That's a cost of shifting, but the
Yeah.
profit margin is still at that high. Yeah, I mean that's
Something interesting happened today when I was at an appointment.
yeah.
I walked into the customer's account and I saw they had a Canon A3 color. They had this little small HP rinky dink inkjet, right?
Oh my God. Okay.
But what I noticed in the office was an empty Caton box. So, first thought I passed it by, and now since we're talking about this, generic and stuff like that, I go,
Mm-hmm.
is that dealer supplying the Canon machines with Caton toner to reduce their cost per page?
No way.
Of course. Of course.
Interesting, right?
Yeah.
Did you bring that up with the prospect?
No, I don't, but I can do that in the AI summary. I'm going to do it in a couple days.
And also, I see dealers doing this when they front load their deals and they get paid up front.
Hell yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
They they switch that customer to generic or compatible toners because now, Rob and Peter to pay Paul, they don't have to pay Paul back so much. You know what I mean?
That's such a bad business
That's
model. Such a bad business model,
welcome to the copier industry.
There's dealers out there.
especially with tariffs and increases. How do you can't control your costs. So anyway,
Right.
I want to get back
Wow.
all covered. Konica Minolta,
All covered. Right.
Mind Shift,
Mind
Ricoh.
shift.
And you don't you hear of neither
No.
brand anymore.
Well, let's hope that Xerox can learn from those. And they're gone. They're gone. Those were waste of monies. That it's like the Konica Minolta got behind whatever Mike's thing was. Right? It failed. So I, for some reason, I think this one's going to work. I think that Xerox is still standing. What are their stocks at 5? It used to be
No,
150 or whatever the
it
hell it
was
was.
under $5 2 days ago. I can imagine, but the stock market hit yesterday what it was.
There's going to be a point when you got to buy it, because if they're doing these things, at least in the next like 24 months or 36 months, they'll show some progress. It may be short term and in 60 months they're gone. But if you bought at 3 and sold in 36 months at 10, that's not bad.
I can tell you this,
Four
Steve and
dollars
Jill,
today.
$4.
$4. Damn.
Well, everything's taken a hit the last 48
Yeah.
hours.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
the ones on the fringe can't. I mean, the X is big. You can't, shit. I don't want to see Xerox go away. I don't. It's an American company.
I don't think they will.
I don't
I
think
think
so
with
either.
Steve and John, those guys are brilliant with their go-to-market strategy and what they see. I mean, they're very impressive to listen to for sure.
They always are.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
mean it. They always are. Who is it? The Kyocera dude. He was impressive. Kyocera's still around. Who was that guy that came from Icon? Forget his name, but he was good. Yeah, I forget it. Anyway,
Yeah.
well, that's very interesting. And now I'm going to keep a better eye on Xerox, Earl. Thanks for
Yeah.
updating. That's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, we appreciate the update on that, Earl. And we've approached the end of our show for today. It's 5 o'clock here on the East Coast, 4 o'clock where Earl is, right, Earl?
That's right. That's right.
I want to thank Earl for coming on the show today and helping us out with
Yeah.
asking us questions and us asking him questions. And we'll be back next Friday at 4 p.m. for a version of Ask Us Anything. Please like, follow, and share.
Thanks, Earl.
Thanks, guys. Be good.